Okay, Coach, had a couple of days to look at the film from Saturday.
Several. Not
Yes.
too much, actually. You know, it's playoff week, we're on to it. We scanned it. But.
So what do you expect to see this week then?
Well, you know, everybody knows that this is another situation where statistically we would be favored on this one. And these are games that can be a little bit unnerving because if what happens is supposed to happen, then this one is a foregone conclusion. But as we know, there's a reason why they play the games. And this time of year, you know, the guys that we have that make plays got to show up and play. If they don't do that, okay, and their guys show up and make plays, then you got a close game and an inconclusive outcome. So it's playoff time. The guys know what the consequences are. It's been a good week of practice. Our guys will be ready.
Bob?
How does Laurier differ from when you met them the first time?
I don't know that they differ. Okay, I'll tell you what. Throughout our league, as you know, it's been almost impossible to, make some, pre-concluded ideas because, it's, Toronto, well, 32-29. How would that be? And then turn around and, just get hammered by Western. And there's so many things that are just bizarre. I don't know how many people picked the Ottawa Western game last week to be as close as it was. I think a lot more people probably thought that York would have been closer to Guelph. So all I can tell you is this, is that it boils down to matchups. Laurier has a big, tough, aggressive front. They have, I think if you can recall from the last conference we had prior to the Laurier game, where they are experienced is on defense. Okay, they've got a number of quality seniors there. Number 33, Mitchell Bosch, he's as good a linebacker as anybody has. They've got a solid defensive force unit, and they're athletic in the secondary. So, they have potential to sort of hang with people. And the way I described our game last time was that we had, they took away the run pretty good. We did not run the football with too much authority against them last time. Fortunately, our receivers and our quarterback had a pretty prolific game. I thought there were a number of deep aerials that sort of loosened them up, and then I thought we showed, once we got into the flow of the game, there was pretty good execution on the short intermediate passing game, which caused that opened things up a little bit, and then we got a little bit more balance in the second half. I thought that our defense played very, very well against them last time. So I suspect our defensive front, which has been, where we've all leaned on, throughout the season, my expectation is that they're going to do a good job against them, and make them earn everything they get.
Mike?
I guess, Mike, is a similar question. The fact that you've played them before, is that an advantage? But because it's been so long ago.
Should be an advantage, but big question is for who? When you play teams for the second time, let's face it, a lot of the secrets that you have have been exposed. We shouldn't be naive enough to think that they're going to roll in here without a game plan. They pretty much know who they have to stop. They need to get good quarterback pressure. They need to minimize the run. They need to have great special teams. And they need to get some consistent offense, test us a little bit, and probably a couple of big plays. They probably need those things, but the same could be true for us.
I was going to say, flip side, what do you guys have to do?
Well, I think that, at this point in the season, we just have to show up and play. I think, we need to compete. We just need to understand arrive with the sense of urgency that is required at this time of year. And our guys are practicing with that. Our team is got some confidence now, right? They've won some football games. They're bright guys. They know that they have a capable unit. They also know at this time of year that you've got to be focused. There are some challenges. Every team is facing a few challenges at this time of year, so better overcome those and bring your A game.
Are you hoping to establish a run more so against Laurier this time around?
Well, we always try and do that, but let's just say this. they were a tough team to just, you know, McMaster didn't even, McMaster beat them fairly handily, but they didn't sort of line up and run over the top of them the way you might think, you know. It was, they got some good run yards late when they were tired. I thought that the Laurier team, save for one thing, the McMaster quarterback, he has the capacity to take off and run at any time, and he did that. So he's kind of an added feature when you sort of talk about rush yards and sort of look, well, they gave up quite a few yards on the run. When you give up 80 to 100 yards to the quarterback, okay, that's likely, you know, sort of an add-on thing. So, no, we want to win every game being balanced. We got John April here listening, so I mean, he doesn't want to hear we're going to run it 50 times. That's what he wants to hear. So, you know, we're pretty balanced. We're pretty balanced.
You spoke of the challenges teams face. What are the challenges facing your team this week?
Well, as you know, at this time of year, the injuries will add up. You know, how many guys report for duty on game day for both teams. If you were watching the score broadcast, you saw their team. They had 3 or 4 guys looked like they were helped off. You know, are those guys back in the lineup? There were a couple of key ones, a couple of guys in their secondary looked like they sort of went down hard in piles and that kind of stuff. There's probably an injury of note here that everybody is paying attention to. So, you know, it's at this time of year, everybody's facing some challenges, and you know, you got to be able to overcome them. Your depth, the guys in the stable, they get tested. Fortunately, I think throughout the season we've done quite well, and not all, but most of our guys will be reporting for duty on the weekend.
Woody Hayes once said, depth is great until your depth has to play.
That's a great comment there. That's a great comment.
So,
well, I would say this, that at certain positions, we're very capable of replacing. At others, there are some guys that are, you know, if they're not in the lineup. I wasn't, you knew that when we talked last time and John was doubtful for the Laurier game the first time, I thought that would really hurt us. And it did. I mean, in deference to him, it did. But I thought that we were able to play somebody. Tim Godber stepped in there, caught a touchdown pass, made a couple of other big grabs. Justin Chapdelaine, you know, converted, you know, several big plays, etc. So there were other guys who stepped up, like on good football teams, that's what's supposed to happen when you're under duress. Other guys share the load. I would say that we have some weapons. I think that most people know who they are, and we've been pretty good at spraying the ball around and getting different people to touch it. I think our return game's in great shape right now. So we definitely have places in the game where we can explode and make things happen. The last couple of weeks have been very positive weeks for the offense to go out and get a quick start. You know, we've been able to get ahead on teams over the last couple of weeks. At least one of the 2 weeks, it ended up being a you know, very, very positive thing. Much easier to play ahead than from behind. So.
Mike?
What about Greenberg?
Doubtful. Doubtful. Go ahead and ask about that. You don't have to dodge.
Well, let's turn it the other way around then, Pat. Tell us about Jesse Andrews.
Jesse's a great football player. There have been some who have suggested that he's been underused this year, and that could be true. He's a great football player. Let's put it this way. He's a better than adequate replacement, okay, if that's the way it goes. Okay, and we'll find that out by the end of the week, but that's the way. He's a great football player. So let's put it this way. I do not feel that I'm going way out on a limb here. I don't feel that the play of the running back will be the difference between winning and losing in the ball game. There are some other places where it might be the difference between winning and losing, but I don't think that running back will be it.
Well, I recall in 08 when Mike Giffen got hurt, he had a very capable replacement, Marty Gordon.
Yeah.
And I think the more telling injury that day was when St. Carter went down very early in the game.
Yeah, and I think it might have been a little bit of a lack of confidence, you know, that Marty was as good as he was, because certainly everything that happened subsequent to that for Marty and Jimmy Terrian also was pretty positive. I mean, we had some pretty capable players there, maybe better than we thought. Okay, there were that specific game. I mean, we had Colin Boyle go down on right tackle, which I think may have had more to do with, you know, the impact on the running game than a lot of people thought as well. So, yeah, there's always these things. I mean, I'm delighted to have Mike Sullivan back. It's great to have him back in there. There's when you get a senior offensive lineman in there with the ball again, it's good. Not to say that Matt LaPointe hasn't done a good job. He's been Mr. Utility for us, and he's done a great job this year. Matt has actually had a great season, and he's done everything that we asked of him. Okay, good to have Mike Sullivan back, and Kendrick's good to go. So it's starting to get all the pieces back in place there in the beginning. John Aprelli did not play against Laurier last time. He is scheduled to play this week. Okay, see how he practices tonight before we make a final call on that. And the one thing I'd say about John Aprelli is that, Justin sat down last week because that was a late week decision, okay? And John, he took the game on his back. I thought he made several plays. As I complimented him early in the season, he's probably scored the 2 nicest touchdowns that will never be in the record book anywhere. Okay.
What do you think will be the difference this week?
I think basically, listen, Laurier's a good football team. They'll be well coached. They will have a plan. They've already called ahead, and they want to wear their purple jerseys because that's sort of, part of their own psyche. So I don't mind if they do that. What I think the difference will be classic execution. At this point in the year now, mistakes are, you can expect the defenses to play better. I think the expectation now that the offenses have to play better as well. There's going to be times when you get in those 2nd and 3 situations where you've got to make plays. And if you get a batted ball, and I don't even want to go in the direction that if you've got anywhere you fumble the ball, have a block kick in your own end, those kinds of things. As I say that, I think both those things happened to us last year. Okay, but typically when those disaster explosion plays happen, they go against you, they could be the difference between winning and losing. Just expect that when you play a team for the second time that it's going to be much more difficult, so that means there has to be a higher level of precision. There has to be less errors. Certainly there's no room for mental errors. You can't have people lining up offside in any of those kinds of things, because those typical lapses, they could really count against you in a repeat performance.
Right, tell us who's brought with us today.
Well, we've got Viva Italia Campioni del Mondo. Okay, two superb football players. Our captain, John Miniacci, on defense has had just an unbelievable year. In my opinion, he's the best defensive lineman, but certainly the best interior. I don't want to, I would be slighting his 2 teammates, Dyer and Wigan, to make it exclusive, but certainly he is the premier interior player. John is ideally designed for his position. He gets underneath the center and guard. He's got a tremendous lower half, doesn't stay blocked, gets off the block. Has garnered quite a bit of attention in the interior, usually the point of attack for double teams, that kind of thing. And John just keeps on moving to the football. He and Steve, well, actually there's probably 3 or 4 guys that are still holdovers from that 2009 team. John was a freshman that year and managed to earn a starting spot, and his career has just been stellar. Okay, Johnny Aprelli. Johnny has developed into one of the premier skill guys in the league and in the country. John sometimes has the most exciting 3-yard runs and 5-yard catches in the league, and certainly he's got the capacity to turn a small play into a big play. I know that he is feared, certainly respected. The more times John Crowley touches the football in a football game, the better off we're going to be. So, just become a tremendous player. Good guys, worked hard, made themselves into great players. John is from St. Michael's College, and Giovanni is from Senator O'Connor College, formerly two rival schools. They don't play against each other anymore.
Thanks, Coach.